Welcome back to the Clear the Backlog podcast. I'm Joe, this is Dani, and we're here to play through some games. If you didn't listen to last month's episode, geez, it's been a month already. If you didn't listen to last month's episode, then we are playing through 12 games each, different games that we've picked to play through the course of this year. And with it now being the 1st of February, we are here to report on how we've got on through the first month. Before we get into that, Dani, you should probably say something. Dani, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I've spent too long this week. I've spent in children's soft play. I've actually been to a soft play twice this week, which is just way too long for anybody to be in any kind of soft play.
Tiring.
Exhausting, some might say. But it's honestly, it's not been too bad. She's at an age now where she can kind of almost go off and play by herself, or at least if she's got a friend, she can go off and play with a friend.
Yeah. Just needs watching from the seats, ideally.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure nobody's crying, and generally they take care of themselves. What about you? Have you been up to anything interesting this month, this week, today? I don't know.
I mean, this month's been weird because I've basically been unemployed, looking for a job for the start, doing interviews, getting a job, and then preparing for the job, which I start tomorrow. Yay! So yeah, I've had more time than I would usually have, essentially, to play games because, yeah, unemployment. So that's good. But no, more recently, obviously you are aware, but people who are listening probably aren't aware, I have two guinea pigs, two guinea pig boys, and I just got them neutered last week so that they can hopefully find some girlfriends soon. So that was very stressful. But they're doing a lot better now, all gone through it. So hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks' time, we should be able to hopefully try and get them some girlfriends. So really happy with that. And yeah, looking forward to having them better so I can, go to work and not have to worry about it is the main thing.
I know with pet stuff, I've got a cat who is actually sat right here. You can't see because it's blurry, but this particular black blur right there, that's my cat. And I've got a dog as well. He's actually in the main house. I'm out here in the home office. They've both had their shares of let's say vet appointments, and it is a stressful time. And geez,
expensive too.
Expensive.
We ended up taking one of the pigs to an emergency vet overnight, and that was 260 quid just for that one appointment.
Jeez.
And it was a 10-minute appointment where they just checked that he was okay, which he was, gave us a little bit of medicine to help him stay okay, and then we left, and it was 260 quid, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
When not to belittle the guinea pig's need of an emergency vet, but when my dog was hit by a car that very much necessitated a trip to an emergency vet, at least then he was looked over and had all of his wounds dressed properly. Luckily, somehow just didn't break anything. Labradors for you, it's just bouncy, yeah, apparently. And again, that was £260. I think, or it might have been 230, 235, something like that. It was a lot of money, just for them to kind of go, yeah, he's got a couple of scrapes, and we put a bandage on him. It was oh, great.
Yeah, for mine, they're he looks fine. He's acting fine. I was yeah. Okay, fine. But it's worth every penny. Everyone's always going to pay it for their pets, so.
Yeah, it's you're paying for the peace of mind more than you're paying for anything else, I suppose, really. But yeah, it's been an eventful week for you.
Yeah.
Well, and for me with my my two trips to the
of course.
to the soft play, and then you with your guinea pig emergency.
But like I said, they're fine now. It's it's good. So happy with that.
All right, cool. Well, yeah. So last month we laid out the 12 games that we were going to play throughout the year this year. And if you haven't listened to that show yet, go back and listen to that. This one will make a lot more sense. And I'm happy to say that we both have at least played a game off our lists. This not always a guarantee that one or either of us will have played a game off our list, but this, I think we both wanted to get in and start the year strong.
And it's a good job we did, because we wouldn't have much to talk about if we...
Look, I've still been playing plenty of games. It's just I've also actually managed to play some games on my list. So
you always get through at least a couple, I feel.
A couple of games, yeah, not always off the list, but there's always stuff coming out that I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll check that out. And, oh yeah, this is interesting to me, and this month was no different. Shall we just dive right into it and start with?
Yeah, you start with yours.
Start with my first game. So I beat this quite early on in the month. It was I think it was the first week of January, and it was Ninja Gaiden for the NES. For anybody who doesn't know, side-scrolling beat 'em up from it's either 1988 or 1989, depending on whether you go off the US or Japanese release. And anybody who knows this game knows that it is extremely challenging and unforgiving. And having seen like speedruns of it and people playing it and kind of being like, oh yeah, this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and I was like, okay, I can give this a shot. And to start with, it's not too bad. You can probably get through the first 2-3 stages. So it's broken up into stages. So you do like 1-1, 1-2, and then 1-3 as a boss. 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 as a boss. And the stages get longer and longer and harder, and it keeps throwing more and more challenge at you as you progress through the game, as you would expect. So you can get through like all the way up to about 3-1, 3-2, maybe even 4-1 if you're like really good. Just going in blind, not knowing, like when I started playing this, I didn't really know the controls, I didn't know the mechanics, everything I just kind of picked up from playing it. And yeah, that game is very, very unforgiving. So I played this through an emulator, through Steam. There is an edited recording of my playthrough on the YouTube channel. So you can go and watch that. And that was all captured through RetroArch through Steam. And there is probably, I'm going to say, probably no way that I would have been able to beat this game without copious amounts of save states and loading back in and just doing like a little bit here, and then I've managed to defeat these 3 enemies that are really annoying. I'm going to save a state here because I've got full health.
Yeah.
It really is, like I say, it's very unforgiving, especially when you get towards the end of the game. So when you get to the final sort of stage is stage 6, you get through stage 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, and then 6-4 is a boss, and then 6-5 is the final boss. And because it's an old NES game, it kind of works off a life system. So you have 2 lives, and thankfully what it does give you is, I think, infinite continues. So say you get to stage 6-3 and you die, you can start again from the beginning of 6-3 if you've still got lives. If you run out of lives, it'll throw you all the way back to stage 6-1. And it'll give you a full complement of lives, which I think is 3. And you can just kind of keep going with that. However, if you make it to 6-4, the first of the two final bosses, or 6-5, the second of the two final bosses, both of which are tough as nails. If you die during those boss fights, no matter how many lives you've got left, you get immediately thrown back to stage 6-1. So you have to go through all of stage 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, the two bosses to finish the game. Yeah, it's... I don't know...
That is pretty rough.
I don't know why the decision was made to make the game like that. Again, I can only kind of guess that this was the era of video game rentals from Blockbuster. And you know, when you go back and look at my edited run, or even my full playthrough, which you can't look at, but it took me about 3 hours to beat this game with save states along the way, which isn't a huge amount.
No, it's not much.
Especially for games back then cost silly amounts of money, like probably around about what they cost today, but in like 88, 89 pounds, dollars, whatever you want. So it was video games weren't cheap. So the only thing I could think was like the difficulty of this game was sort of put in place to keep somebody from renting this game over one weekend and beating it in 3 hours and kind of being like, okay, well, that's that game done, and moving on to whatever's next.
Yeah, because you use save states, which is why it was 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
It
like,
would have been much longer.
If I might have been able to beat the game without save states had I actually tried. I'll be honest, I didn't really
put the
try.
time in.
Exactly. If I put the time in, and it comes down to like just a whole load of pattern recognition, and it's like, okay, this enemy does this, and I need to go here to do this, and I need to throw a shuriken here to kill this bird, and like putting it all together, much in the same way like a Dark Souls boss fight would be, but like an entire game of that with, you know, like I say, very few checkpoints along the way. So it's kind of, had I put the time in and the tens or, you know, dozens of hours it would have taken to actually learn the patterns and do it, maybe I could have done it. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to go with the save states. I'm going to play through the game with that, and just get it done. And
It's probably more enjoyable that way. At least it would be for me, I think.
I think it would have been for me as well. Like, yeah, maybe I would have been able to do like a little bit, like a bit more. But I think by the time I had gotten to stage 6 and getting to the two final bosses and learning their patterns and doing that over and over and over again to learn the patterns and be able to do it, I think I would have probably just given up on the game by that point and just been like, no, I don't want to do this. This isn't fun. This is literally just pattern recognition. And yeah, I thought, you know, I'm gonna play through it. I'm gonna see the story. I'm gonna see what all the fuss is about. And it is a fun game. It, you know, like I said, it's a side-scrolling, it's almost like a beat-em-up, not like a belt scroller, like a Streets of Rage or games of that sort of ilk. But it also has platforming challenges and instant kill death pits and all the kind of stuff that you hate to see in like an old game. But I did really enjoy playing it. One thing that kind of I found really interesting was that at the beginning of the game sort of opens up with, to call them cutscenes might be a bit generous, but they are sort of very lightly animated, sort of anime-esque. I think the looking them up on the Wikipedia, I did a little bit deep dive on video game cutscenes and seeing which ones were the earliest. Because a lot of times when you find, you type into Google, what was the earliest game with cutscenes, a lot of people will say, Ninja Gaiden was the first one with actual cutscenes, but cutscenes way predate Ninja Gaiden by almost 20 years or 20 more than 20 years. a game in was it the Sumerian game from 1966? Arguably was the first game with cutscenes. We'll go down a rabbit hole of.
You're not gonna get any information like that from me. I have no idea.
Yeah, you're not the biggest Sumerian game from 1966 player. Oh right,
no, not
okay.
quite.
Well, hey, maybe
Second.
put that. Maybe put that. Yeah. Put that on your list for next year, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have these anime like cutscenes throughout the game that tell the story, and after you complete each stage with each boss, you do get like a little bit more of the story, and it does have like in a game where, or sorry, in an era where games pretty much were just Bowser's stolen the princess, go get her back, or you're Scrooge McDuck and you want a shitload more money.
Pretty basic stuff.
Very basic stuff. This has got like quite an involved cutscene where like the main thing, that the MacGuffin that people are after is this statue, but there's like a light statue and a dark statue, and combine the two together under a black moon or a black sun, I forget what it is, and great evil will be wrought upon the world, and it's basically somebody trying to get these two statues, put them together, and raise this demon thing. And then the FBI are involved, and there's a love interest, and it's like very sort of, I don't know, for a video game in like the late 80s, pretty high concept stuff. So you can kind of see why it might be someone's first encounter of a game with cutscenes, but it definitely is not the first game with cutscenes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first game off my list, and you can write in and tell me that you didn't actually properly beat it because you use save states, and I'm just gonna delete all those comments and emails because I don't care. I don't care. I beat the game. That's all that matters to me.
You saw all of it.
I saw all of it. Yeah, I saw the story in full. I'm prepped for if I ever decide to play Ninja Gaiden 2. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm ready.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, exactly. So, shall we go on to the game that you... Not to spoil it, but you did only complete one game this month. Off your list. I'm just going to say off your list.
I did. Off my list. Yeah, I didn't complete that many others as well. But yeah. One from my list. So I mentioned at the end of last episode what my plan was. And that was Alan Wake 2. And that is what I did. So Alan Wake 2, survival horror game. So in Alan Wake 1, you follow Alan Wake.
No way.
He's a writer, and he goes, there's a whole bunch of shadows and that essentially attack him throughout the game. If you haven't played it, you probably should.
I'd agree.
It's a classic, I feel.
Yeah.
So this is essentially the follow-on from that. So if you should probably play the first one, because it does obviously come straight after. Well, it comes after. There's a time skip, basically.
There are other games. Things happen in those games.
Yeah.
It's just play the first one and then go play the second one. You'll be fine. You don't really need to know anything that happens in the middle there.
Yeah. So it essentially follows two different people's perspective. So essentially, you start off as Saga Anderson. She's an FBI agent, and she's essentially looking into murders that have taken place in Bright Falls, which is the setting of the first game, this little town. So you start as her, you come in, her gameplay is quite like, a detective, as you would. So she's finding evidence, she's, inspecting a scene, asking for witnesses, what they've seen, that kind of thing. And she's like piecing it together on like a case board with all the pins, putting the string between them, lovely, and making like deductions based on all the evidence. So you have a few chapters playing as her, and then it gets into Alan. Basically, it switches to what's Alan up to, and essentially he is trapped in the dark place after the first game. and he's trying to get out. So all of his chapters basically revolve around him trying to rewrite a manuscript, like how he wrote a manuscript in the first game, which details the story, essentially.
That worked out so well for him.
Yeah, because he got trapped in the dark place. But,
Let's do it again, baby.
Let's do it again. We'll do it right this time. Hopefully. But yeah, so he starts to try and like rewrite/write this manuscript, detailing his escape from the dark place, essentially. And he also writes Saga into the story, and that's how like she is connected to it all and that kind of thing. His chapters are more, I think, classic spooky to me, at least.
Yeah.
And I think more of the horror vibe than Saga's is. Saga's feels more action, adventure type stuff, whereas Alan's is spookier, basically.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of cool stuff going on, because there's a lot of like overlap between the realities. He can rewrite scenes from where he is to change like how the scene is laid out. So you hear like some typewriter noises, and then like suddenly the scene is changed, and now there's like a path where you couldn't go before, that kind of thing. So that's really cool. There's also like echoes from like the real world, and like visions he sees that give him like inspiration for the scenes, and they like look really cool. They come up like kind of on the screen, and like I say, kind of overlap with what you're seeing. So you've got like these shadows or like lights coming in where you see the characters, and like they like have a conversation or whatever it may be. So it's just like really cool graphically that like they're blending the two realities, and it just looks amazing.
It's a very visually beautiful game, and I think they really try to go for some swings on what they can do both visually and mechanically with this game, especially compared to the first one.
Yeah, definitely. The first one was pretty basic. You know, you walk around a forest and shine a light at these taken enemies, and then you shoot them. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot more like leaning into the changing of the story and like you having an impact on that, not just you reading a story kind of thing, which is cool. But yeah, and I think part of why it looked so good is because I played it on PlayStation 5. Genuinely,
just a standard,
like I bought
standard PlayStation 5, not the Pro.
Just a standard one, yeah. But my PC isn't like, it's fine. It's not the best PC though, so I know that like the specs weren't great, and it was probably going to struggle to run it at some of the more intense parts of the game. Which is why I played the main base game on PlayStation 5, and I was very glad because it ran really nice, and it looked really nice on the big 4K TV downstairs. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah.
I never had any issues running. I know my PC's like a little bit more powerful than yours, but I played this game 2.5 years ago now, but I don't remember having any performance issues when I was playing it. The biggest issue I had playing it was the really annoying Epic storefront achievement sound going off every time you get an achievement, which was it was immersion breaking in a horror game with this big bang popping up, but that's sort of by the by.
Yeah, I played the DLC through Epic because I didn't actually have the DLC on PlayStation, so I did get those puddings, and I did have some like minor performance issues in the DLC, particularly the Night Springs one, when there's just like a lot of enemies and a lot of things going on. But basically my boyfriend had some performance issues on the base game. Particularly later on in the game, there's a massive like concert like there is in the first one, a big gig with like fireworks and a lot of enemies and a lot of lighting things going on. And that's where he said he really struggled to get through that part because his PC was like freezing. So he couldn't like move his mouse to like aim at the enemies and everything. So
that's a problem.
Yeah, and I have the same like setup as he did when he played the game. So I was like, well, you know, PS5, that's fine. But having said that, like, that meant that I had to use a controller. So I had other difficulty issues because of using a controller, not a keyboard and mouse. It was quite tricky, actually. I thought this game was quite hard.
Those kind of games, any kind of game that has shooting in it, whether it be like first person or third person, I would want to play with a keyboard and mouse. I think you can actually plug a keyboard and mouse into a PlayStation 5 and play that way. I haven't tried it. I couldn't speak to whether it works in Alan Wake or how well it works in Alan Wake, but apparently that is something that you can do. I've heard people talk about doing it.
I have to keep that in mind for if I play another one like that. But yeah, I've not tried that at all. But yeah, it was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. And I think part of this game is like where you play a bit as Saga to introduce her as like one of the main characters. You play a bit as Alan. It's like Alan's the guy, you know. Alan's the guy.
His name is on the box.
Yeah. So you play a bit as him, and then it comes into it where it's like you can play these now in any order, which I thought was interesting. So I ended up basically, I think I just played as Alan most recently. So I was like, okay, I'll do a bit of Saga for like a couple chapters and then I'll go back to Alan. So I basically ended up doing like a couple of chapters at a time for each of them and then switching back. But
yeah,
it's like you have to get to a certain place to switch as well. So it wasn't always like as cleanly as like you end a chapter and then you can change straight away. You sometimes have to get back to a place to switch. So
yeah, I think that's kind of what I did. Was I did it. I went and got I did one chapter with Saga, one chapter with Alan, switching whenever was possible. So yeah, I did it in a very, very sort of similar way.
Some of Alan's chapters are very short though.
Yes.
And so like if you just did like one chapter to one chapter, you'd be playing like 15 minutes as Alan for a second, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm done now. So yeah, I often did a couple when one of them was only like 15 minutes, then I carried on and did the next one type thing. And then at some point you get to like it tells you like point of no return, and that's when you know you've got to finish the others, essentially.
Yeah, you kind of can't progress past a certain point.
Yeah, exactly.
With a character without having done the other character as well.
And you can't accidentally miss anything. It literally just doesn't let you carry on, basically, and skip anything. So, yeah. It was, I think, one of the good things about this game as well was that, like, Remedy are trying to, like, link Alan Wake and Control.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
If you've played Control before playing Alan Wake 2, like I have, you will recognise definitely a few of the characters. And then, you know, some of the characters that come in later are from Control, essentially. So the Federal Bureau of Control comes in. So they're very much linking those. And that was kind of evident with the fact that Control had a DLC that was linked to Alan.
Yeah, it's been like this
and one
weird...
of these DLCs is like linked to Control. It's
like a weird Ouroboros of game DLCs promoting the next game kind of thing, because you had Control DLC for it was Alan Wake DLC for Control that was kind of leading into Alan Wake 2. Now here you've got Control 2 DLC for Alan Wake to promote Control 2. It's the way that they are mashing these two sort of franchises together is really interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see how and if they manage to tie everything together, whether we get like a full-on Control and Alan Wake crossover game.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. Like it's getting mergier and mergier like every time. So I wonder if they are leaning towards just this game near the end, like where they go, okay, this is everything in one space kind of thing. But yeah, in this game, like I said, you get the Federal Bureau of Control come. You've got Artie, the janitor from Control.
Shout out to Artie.
Artie is a G. He's a great guy. And he shows up quite a bit in this as well, actually. So
Every
that
now
was
and then
fun
he
to see.
just sort of pops up and you're like, hey, it's Artie again. What's
Yeah,
he doing
he's
this
just
time?
there.
He's singing a song. Oh, great.
He's saying some weird stuff that half makes sense, where he helps you find out like where you need to find your next item or something. And he's like, "Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks for that." But yeah, so it's I really enjoyed it. I think that the ending is weird. So, minor spoilers. We're talking about games that we've played, of course.
Yeah,
spoilers,
we probably should have said this at the head, but there are going to be spoilers for pretty much every game. I mean, it's kind of hard to spoil a game like Ninja Gaiden because it's so short and so old. I think anybody who's interested in it has already at least looked into it. But with Alan Wake 2 being a newer game, yes, there are going to be spoilers. We're talking through the story. If you don't like this, we'll put timestamps in the episode so you can skip ahead to the next part, or just skip ahead. And if we're still talking about Artie and Alan Wake, then just keep skipping until we start talking about something else.
Yeah, so this specifically is because I'm going to talk about like what happens at the end. So if you don't want to hear about what happens at the end, mute it or skip to the next chapter, whatever.
And you really should play it if you haven't. It is a fantastic game.
But basically, at the end of Alan Wake 1, it ends with the it's not a lake, it's an ocean.
It's hard to see. I'm wearing a t-shirt that says it is bird-like. It's a bird-like cabin t-shirt. It says
I did not realize you were wearing that.
It's not a lake, it's an ocean.
That's a good t-shirt to be wearing.
So
very nice.
Quick sidetrack. I was wearing a different t-shirt we're recording this at night. Earlier this morning, this afternoon, I was wearing a different t-shirt, and then I quickly had a thought, and I was like, oh, hang on. That was the t-shirt I was wearing when I filmed my apology video for the last podcast we did, and I was like, I can't just keep showing up in the same t-shirt. That's no good. And I saw this one, and I was like, yeah, we're going to be talking about Alan Wake 2. Let's put on the Alan Wake t-shirt.
Amazing.
Sorry. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, there you go. Perfect example. It says it's not a lake, it's an ocean, and that's the whole like ending bit. Basically, it's like, oh my god. So near the end of this one, basically the whole of the game, Alan's basically going through this like loop. He thinks like he's just going round and round in circles. Sometimes the scene changes, and like that's how he kind of tries to get out of the loop.
He's getting through parts of. He's essentially in like a rundown like New York City style area, and he's going through different parts of it and going through a part, and then is coming back out of that part to go onto a different part, and he's kind of getting the idea that he's just kind of looping through these different parts and being thrown back into.
Yeah, and he's like making changes that then change the environment, and then obviously then he can go and do more stuff from there. And near like at the end, basically, it's kind of come to a big head. Like as there's obviously the Dark Presence, which is the bad guy, and he's essentially been defeated. Kind of. I won't fully ruin it, but
I mean, Alan's wife gets involved at some
confirmed.
point. Like she's hanging about.
And it basically ends on a very similar note to the first one does, and it says it's not a loop, it's a spiral. And it's like another little boom kind of moment, except that when you play the first game, you go, it's not a lake, it's an ocean. I mean, okay, yeah, whatever.
It's deeper than you thought it was. It's essentially
it's deeper than you thought it was.
Yeah.
But when you say like it's not a loop, it's a spiral, it's a bit more kind of actually important to the story, because it's like, oh, essentially when his wife Alice is essentially trying to help him get out of the spiral, and she sends him like this video, and it's like there's like two ways out. You either go like out the spiral or you go into the spiral, and that essentially depends on like the choices that he would make essentially when he went through. It's the whole thing.
It all makes a whole lot more sense when you've actually been playing the game for 20 odd hours or however long you've been playing it.
Summarize it
exactly, yeah.
just a few minutes. But
like we said, like if you
yeah.
haven't played this game and you are still listening at this point, go play the game. It's really,
Very
really
good.
good.
Very good. Very good game. Really glad I played this. I think I'm done with the base game. I will touch briefly on the DLC because even though
Yeah.
it's not the base game, which was what I was playing for this list, I did end up playing the DLC as well. Both of them are fairly short. So let's talk about the first one I played, which was Night Springs, is what it's called, and it's basically made up of 3 episodes.
Yeah, Night Springs is sort of like the Twilight Zone stand-in in the world of Alan Wake, and it's made clear in the first game that Alan Wake was a writer on Night Springs for a couple of years. I think he was a writer on the show.
Yeah, and it's not like canon Alan Wake stuff.
Yeah,
basically, that's important to note. So I thought this DLC was really good. It's got different vibes for each episode. So the first episode follows Rose from the diner, and she is essentially cuckoo, and she's in like her own little fantasy world where Alan Wake, the writer, loves her, and she has to like save him, basically.
She's very much in love with Alan in the
oh yeah
in the main game. She comes up a couple of times throughout that main game's story, and you do kind of get the impression that she's maybe not all together. Yeah, putting it as delicately as possible,
Yeah, so basically you play as her and you walk through the forest. You meet Alan's evil twin brother, and he's also like a werewolf.
He's a werewolf and he's got a cool motorbike
that he drives
and his
is
motorbike
also
is
a werewolf. So it's silly,
It is.
This DLC was clearly not meant to be hard. They give you so much ammo in all of these episodes that it's like not a case of like survival crafty like type thing. It is just have fun, shoot the guys.
Yeah, I think all the 3 episodes that are in Night Springs they kind of come across as being really silly, but like in a good way. Like they are silly, and they're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and I think it's the challenge isn't in getting through them. It's just here are some fun stories that we put together. Go nuts.
Go have fun, enjoy them. Yeah, exactly. And they're, like I said, they're quite short, so each episode is about 45 minutes. So it's really easy to just sit and do one episode. I did like all 3 within 3 hours or something. I think I stopped for lunch for that, yeah. So that's that one. That was really good. The second one is actually probably my least favourite. I don't know about you, but...
So, we'll get into it, but like when you said that you were going to play the DLC, I was thinking to myself, and I was like, okay, there's the one where you play as Rose and it's her sort of like fan fiction, and then there's the one, there's the last one where you play as the sheriff, and I could not for the life of me remember anything about this second episode or what happened in it, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it's just very forgettable, I think, and just not as interesting as the other 2.
I mean, I still played it quite recently, so it's fairly fresh in my mind. But basically, it's following Jesse Faden from Control. And she's in Coffee World, which is in Alan Wake 2 in the base game, which is just basically like an amusement park based around coffee for whatever reason. And she's like moving around Coffee World. She's... trying to find her brother. For whatever reason, she thinks he's there. Sheriff Breaker is also there, and he's like, oh, careful. The coffee is weird. Don't drink the coffee. And she's like, okay. And then he just like gives her a gun. Just this random person he's just met. Questionable, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, you go around.
He's a sheriff. He knows what he's doing.
Apparently. I don't know who made him sheriff. But yeah, so you walk around Coffee World.
So there was a Sheriff Breaker in the first Alan Wake, but it was... I can't remember her name. It was a female sheriff, Sheriff Breaker in Alan Wake 1. And it's oh god, what's the actor's name? The guy who plays Tim Breaker.
It's his cousin.
It's his cousin. Yeah, it's her. Well, it's her cousin.
Her cousin.
Who's come to sort of take over the post because she's just mysteriously
disappeared
absent.
or something.
What's his name? The guy who plays Tim Breaker. I can't. Anyway, it's not important.
But yeah. Anyway, so she goes around Coffee World. There's some puzzles to try and basically figure out a secret code to get into a warehouse where she thinks that her brother's being held. So you have to go, like watch a video which tells you the slogan of this like coffee cult, and then like you have to go figure out the roasting temperature for the coffee, and you do like some maths to figure it out, and then you have to try the coffee and all this stuff. And then you finally get into the warehouse, and in there you have to put all your weapons in like a little hatch, and then so you don't have any weapons. And this DLC episode was actually like the spookiest of the Night Springs, and that's mainly for me because I had to give away my weapons at the end, which I never liked.
It's a cheap but effective trick, yeah.
It's effective, yeah. So you walk into this warehouse, and there's these thermos flask dudes, like dudes wearing thermos flask costumes essentially, and they are like the enemies in that zone. You have to like try and sneak past them. I think they've got like fairly set routes in this warehouse, and you have to like dash past from like one hiding place to another kind of thing. Find a key, let yourself into the office, and then that's where you go into like a basement, and that's where it ends, and you find like your brother. There's like a weird flash of control resonant or something. I don't know. It links to control again, basically.
This was before anything. That was obviously what was that, a couple of months ago during the Game Awards. Control Resonant was revealed for the first time. So when this game came out back in 2023, nobody really knew what the hell was going on. Me included.
So you wouldn't have known what you'd just seen, really. But it's like a bit of what I've seen since then, obviously from Resonant trailers or something, very similar kind of location wise. So yeah, I think it's another little teaser basically. But yeah,
so you said about the thermos people wearing the thermoses.
For the audio listeners, he's just gone over to grab something from the other side of the room. Oh, a thermos flask. Okay.
I have the Odia Diner thermos from Aram. It's good. Never actually been used because I don't take coffee anywhere. But yeah, I'm a bit of a fan, and I like collecting things that are cool, and this is one of them. So that can
at least those don't have
sit
legs
there,
and arms and
just
like
blurry over there.
Neck,
you can't see it on the camera, but it's just there. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the thermos lads like snap your neck, which is pretty brutal or something. It's like insane. But yeah, that one was like the spookiest of the three. But like you say, a bit less memorable. You just kind of walk around Coffee World for a bit. Is the main.
Which you do a lot in the main game anyway, so it's not really adding like a huge amount.
No, but you're playing as Jesse, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then episode 3, as you said, follows the sheriff, and it's essentially set on like a film studio set initially. Sam Lake is in front of you, like directing you to do.
This is Sam Lake actually playing Sam Lake, not Sam
playing
Lake
as Sam Lake.
Playing Alex. What's his name? Alex Casey.
Alex Casey, yeah.
In the main game, but also he's an
playing
actor
himself as a director.
But then he's playing like later on in the game. He's playing himself in a film.
Yeah.
Sam Lake just
plays
keeps
a lot of
popping
people.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to be in his own stuff. So yeah, he's there directing you, playing as himself, and Sheriff's like taking direction. And they're like, okay, go take 5, whatever. And this one gets weird.
It very much does, yeah.
This one, I think, was the most interesting of all of the 3 of Night Springs, because it takes you through a lot of different places. So basically there's this whole thing about the Master of Many Worlds, which is Wall and Door from Alan Wake 2 base game. So go play that. If you haven't played it, go play it.
Yeah, definitely play that, and don't play the third episode of the first DLC before playing the main game.
Yeah, it would not make sense. But yeah, so like it's this Master of Many Worlds, Wall and Door, is trying to like kill versions of him in different worlds, and there's all this whole interdimensional aspect. And basically you end up traveling through TVs to different worlds is the gist of it, trying to fight the Master of Many Worlds and survive and that kind of thing. So you end up going like through the TV to the Ocean View Hotel, which pops up in Alan Wake 1 and Ocean View Motel is in Control, and then Ocean View Hotel is in Alan Wake 2. There's a whole section with it. So you end up going there and doing some stuff there, fighting some dudes, finding another light for the TV to take you somewhere else. Then you go into like a comic book strip, which is just a cool little cutscene-y thing. And then there's a video game, a 2D shoot your gun at enemies.
Yeah, pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, just like 5 waves of enemies. But like it's cool. You're like going, oh, this is really, really neat. I'm in all these different worlds. And then you end up like at the end, you're in a text adventure, which was like really weird. I had, like you with your deep dive kind of on Ninja Gaiden, I had a deep dive on this because I was like, how many different ways can you go? Because there's a lot of options.
Oh, sure.
In that text adventure. I don't know if you looked it up when you were playing it.
I don't think I did. I probably explored quite a lot of them, but I don't think I really plumbed the depths, let's say.
There's a whole like tree that comes out, like depending on which ones you choose, you get different outcomes. Obviously it's all the same. It all ends the game with like, you know, you're free, whatever. But like you can focus on the Master of Many Worlds, or you can focus on Jesse Faden, essentially, and like in mine, I think I picked like one of the potentially worst ones because I ended up like going to war, this massive battle. Jesse like fucking dies. You rage out because you've got like some alien power that I thought would help me win this war. I ended up with this massive like alien power. I end up raging, like destroying everything in my path, basically, including like Jesse Faden and all of my allies that I got along the way and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh shit. Wow. But you know, it's fine. I ended up still beating the game. Like that, it doesn't matter what you get. It's just there is a lot of different outcomes depending on what you choose, basically, which I thought was really cool. I'm glad I looked it up as well afterwards. There was way better endings than that. So yeah, it's pretty bad for mine. But yeah, that was about it. Definitely, I think the most interesting one. Just does the most different stuff, basically.
Yeah, none of these are particularly essential to play. I'd say if you are playing Alan Wake 2, you could just play the main story and be done with it, and that's fine. But these are fun, short little stories that, like you say, don't take too long. And it's just a nice time. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is good. So yeah, I recommend them. Although, like as you say, yeah, they're not necessary and they're obviously not canon. So finally, the last DLC is called The Lake House. So this is another little Control teasery thing. In preparation for Control Resonant, essentially. This DLC spooked me. This was the spookiest time I had.
It's definitely got spookier vibes than anything else, I think.
Yes, yeah. So basically, this DLC is based on Agent Estevez, the Federal Bureau of Control lady who comes in like midway through the main game. And it's basically what she did just before you meet her in Alan Wake 2. I don't know if you realise that, because I told Joe and he did not realise that that was when it was set. But yeah, it's
I
like
think
just
I knew
before you
that and
meet her in
forgot
the
it.
base game.
It's like I say, it's been a while since I've played this game,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think I did know that at some point.
Yeah, so that's when it's set, and basically she goes to the lake house, which is like a facility by Bright Falls Cauldron Lake, where people are doing research and all this kind of stuff, like control stuff, basically from control. So you enter this lake house because there's like a signal or whatever, something's gone wrong, they need to investigate it. There's meant to be a whole bunch of people working there. There is not, it is empty. And you basically have to try and figure out what's happened. You like go through the facility. If you start on the main ground floor, you obviously have to like find keys, you know, like all the basic stuff you're doing within the game generally. Finding keys to get unlocked doors, or finding numbers like passcodes and stuff like that to access different areas. You end up going down like this elevator, and the whole spooky vibe is like this place is like full of paint. There's paint on the walls, like figures on the walls. And you later find out that there is, you know, there's spooky paint monsters essentially that come out from the walls and attack you. And they can like grab you from the walls as well and like strangle you as well.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
Which
when
caught
that
me off
happens.
guard,
You're like,
and
"Oh,
I was
God."
like, oh, fuck me.
But like there are the outlines of people painted on the walls, and you notice it, and you go, "Nah, not gonna get me this time." And it's the next one that gets you because you were paying too much attention to this one, and you're just kind of like, "Oh, I can't."
I never
win again,
figured
paint
out
monsters.
like what was the key to know, if there was a way to know which ones were gonna attack you and which one. I have no idea. Didn't figure that out.
I don't think there is.
I was
think
just like,
it's...
fuck. I just kind of tried to run past or away from them, like stay away from them if I could. So yeah, and they don't get shot by irregular bullets, of course. That doesn't harm them. You can stun them with a flash grenade, but that's about it. You just have to kind of run away for a lot of that. So again, no weapon to fight them. I hate it. That makes me spooked. So yeah, but you go through this whole facility. You know, you fight. There's some Taken in there as well, the regular enemies from Alan Wake, as well as these paint guys. You find out basically what happened in the facility based on all of the various logs you find throughout your time there, and you unlock the doors. You know, your team from the Federal Bureau tried to come and help you, and they all get fucked up, and killed, and it's just you basically, and you have to try and shut down what the fuck is happening with this like overlap thing that's going on, where you know the dark world is trying to essentially invade. So yeah, really interesting. And then near the end, it kind of, you know, brings in some more of that control stuff. You end up somehow seeing Jesse's brother in like a big containment unit. He's not there. He's like at the oldest house in from Control or something.
Yeah.
But you see him, and yeah, it's odd. Hard to explain again. You have to have all the background
I'm
and
very
stuff,
curious.
so.
Like, if you haven't seen the trailer for Control Resonant, the sequel to Control, it very much does just show Dylan, Fade, and Jesse's brother he's out of the oldest house. He's out on the streets of Manhattan, and it seems to be like it's a more open world game. Seems to be what they're sort of going towards with this. So it's kind of, the big question is, how has it gone from, all right, at the end of Control, she's taken her position as the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. Everything seems to be going okay. That oldest house is still in lockdown. The hiss is still coming, but things seem to be a little bit more in control now. To, oh god, the hiss have escaped the oldest house and now in New York, and Jesse's brother, who is very much painted to be like insane, like he's been corrupted by the hiss. He is now the one responsible for taking care of things in Control Resonance.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious how they get from A to B. This DLC doesn't really give anything on that. So I am just
No,
really, really
no,
curious.
it doesn't give any clues as to how we're getting to there. It's just a bit more of a control of like bringing him in and being like, he's in the oldest house contained somewhere, and that's about it. But the DLC in general is just a cool little story about like what happened at that lake house, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's cool for what it is. Again, it's fairly short, although this is obviously an episode. It isn't broken up into the episodes, so you do just have like I think it ended up being about 3 hours for me to play it. I did like everything, and looked at all of the notes and all of the things. Watched all the videos. So, but it's just like a normal save file as you do, within the normal game, so you can stop and come back to it if you want to.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So
that
yeah,
DLC's
really
got
good.
some good bits in it. Like the room full of typewriters trying to somehow recreate Alan Wake's novels, and it's just it's very much
as an engineer, I appreciated it. As in, like, I was like, yeah, science. Like, they're trying to do things.
I see she's pro AI. What do I do? No, it's
no, I'm not, obviously,
it's
but
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It's cool. It's cool. Like the ideas they had and the whole relationship between the two head of researchers within that story as well, which are like a husband-wife duo, as well. And
they're getting like increasingly fed up with each other, and they're infighting against each other for
spying on each other.
Writing is the true way that we're going to sort this out, or art is the true way that we're going to sort it out. And they've got like, they're kind of fighting for control of the facility and the research and everything. It's it's good.
It's good. I'll shut up now. I had a lot to say about the game. So
it's a long game, and there's a lot to discuss, and there's like whole things that we didn't get into there, like we didn't talk about We Sing.
Exactly.
Which
about We Sing.
About We Sing, which I genuinely think is one of the greatest moments in video games.
Very good.
I think it's just so very well done.
For the viewers, I did play this, and I streamed it on YouTube, on my personal YouTube, and then we uploaded each chapter to the Clear the Backlog YouTube. So if you do want to see my playthrough of it, the PS5 version for the base game doesn't have any voiceover or anything, but it's just my gameplay of the game. And then the DLCs I did do on my PC, so that has got also like camera and video and voice and stuff like that. So if you do want to go watch those, some of those are out, some of them are still to come, but they will be on there as well.
Yeah, they're coming out I think we've set yours to every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And then mine, the game that I'm about to start talking about, they are being also released episodically every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. And that game is, in fact, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, the second list game that I beat this month. Can you believe it?
Me too. Wow.
Yeah,
very good.
Look, things are all going to come crashing in at some point. I'm just going to give up for 6 months. I'll talk about other games while you start shooting ahead. But yeah, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is a third person tactical stealth action game, but not like Metal Gear Solid's tactical stealth action, where if you get seen, you just gun everybody down and carry on. This is a lot. I feel this is actually a lot more tactical. This is a game that if you get spotted, you're pretty much dead. If you're lucky, you might be able to pop off a shot or two and go and hide for a bit and come back. But that's rare. That very, very rarely happens in this game. You play as Sam Fisher, who is a SIGINT agent being sent into these individual sort of areas. And the story in the game isn't great. There's an evil Georgian dictator who's waging war against America, and you're Sam Fisher, and you've been sent in to stop the war of information by spying on the enemy, and by the end of it, guess what happens to the Georgian dictator who hates America? But yeah, like Sam Fisher, like I say, like if you get spotted, 2 or 3 shots and you are dead. And normally when you get
He's weak.
spotted, or at least the way when I was playing it, when I got spotted, I was like this far away from somebody, sneaking up behind them, getting ready to grab them and snap their neck or knock them out or whatever. And they just happened to turn around. And I'm like, well, that's me. I'm dead. That's the end of that. Never mind. Let's reload a save and try again. And it really does kind of feel like it's a game that wants you to have the perfect run. It wants you to be able to string these bits together, to be able to go from checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint without making a mistake. So again, it's in a very similar way to Ninja Gaiden. It is you're playing and learning the enemy's patterns for this one piece. And you're like, okay, if I stand here in this darkness, he's not going to see me. He's just going to walk right past, and then I can sneak up and knock him out, and then go and I'm going to have to shoot this guy and go through here, and there's cameras here and here, and it's a lot to remember and a lot to take in, and it kind of feels like you're not going to do this the first time you play the game. You're not going to be, or the first time you load into a level. You're not going to be able to just kind of blitz through it by pure skill alone. Even if you were the greatest player in the world, like Sam isn't very good at shooting his gun. You can stand. You have to stand still so the reticle shrinks to a certain amount. And even then, if you've got it placed directly over the enemy's head, he'll still sometimes just miss.
Oh, buddy, that's sad.
And it's like, oh man, this is
not good at his job.
But again, he's supposed to be like this ghost. People aren't supposed to know that he's there, so it kind of thematically fits that guns are very much a last option, and they're not always going to work. You get some better guns later on in the game, but even then, you're always sort of encouraged to go down like sort of a non-lethal route, and kind of incapacitate people where you can, hide the bodies. In that sense, it's very much like the old or even the modern remakes of the Hitman games. It has a lot of the enemy placements. The enemies are going to walk in a very certain pattern, and they're going to act in a very certain way, and you need to learn that pattern and learn what they do and how they react to certain things. And thankfully, this is actually built into the game, so it's not cheating like it was with Ninja Gaiden. There's a quick save, quick load function built into the game, so you can just tap quick save at any point if you feel like you're in a good place, and it'll just save the position right there, and you can load it up and go again. And yeah, it's deaths can be really punishing. So if you're like getting like certain levels are quite long, and the checkpoints can be quite far apart. Like you get through an encounter, any encounter with people, you kind of feel like you've accomplished something. You're like, oh yes, I somehow managed to take down these 2 or 3 people. But where's the next checkpoint? I haven't seen like because it'll come up in the middle of the screen. It'll say auto saving.
So you know that it's there, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But like, okay, is the next checkpoint around the corner, or are there 3 guys around the corner who might have heard me accidentally make 1 step too loud on a grate or something? So the quick save, quick load was something that I did actually use quite a lot to get through it. And again, I don't feel bad about it. It's there in the game. It's pretty much how that game was meant to be played, at least on PC, which is where I was playing it. But again, like it's very much. It feels like sort of back in the day there were 2 camps of people when it came to stealth action games. Either you were a Metal Gear Solid person, or you're a Splinter Cell person. And the Splinter Cell people always look down on the Metal Gear Solid people because, this is real military tactical action, and MGS is just this stupid nonsense anime BS from Japan, and none of it's really real. But Sam Fisher, he could actually exist, and he's a real person who does things in a certain way. And it's like, all right, shut up. I mean, I was an MGS person. I love the Metal Gear Solid games, and I love the way that those games sort of play. For the most part, we won't get into Metal Gear Solid 4 right now. Maybe in future episodes we'll talk a little bit more about Metal Gear Solid 4. But yeah, I played the first Splinter Cell when it first came out on Xbox, and it was, I mean, that game came out in the early 2000s, so I was like 12, 13 then, and I was just kind of like, no, this game's stupid and boring and dumb and very slow, and it's not for me. Now I'm a little bit older and playing through that game, it's got that early 2000s PC game jank. It really does kind of feel janky in certain places, and like I say, the story isn't amazing. You're kind of sent in, and there's no real twists to the story. It's all very straightforward political thriller type stuff. Like, there's the Georgian bad guy, and he's working with the Chinese, and they're sort of disavowing these people from their respective places, and the president's involved, and it's nothing Oscar worthy about the story of this game. It is very straightforward. It's very basic, but it's enjoyable enough, for a game from 20 odd years ago. It's enough to sort of get you through like a 10-hour game or whatever it is.
And you're more patient now. You have the time.
Exactly.
To
Yeah.
actually try and
have time now. Yeah. No, it's I did really enjoy playing through the game, and I think maybe I will go on to play some of the other Splinter Cells. I haven't really played any of the others. I did play, I think it's Splinter Cell Blacklist. I think that might be the last Splinter Cell that they ever made. For the Xbox 360, I played quite a lot of that, and I think that was a lot less kind of tactical stealth about it. It was a lot more, all right, Sam's finally learned how to shoot a gun, and you can take these people out at distance. So I'd be kind of curious to go on and play a couple more games in this series and see how they progress.
How it evolves.
Yeah, over time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a huge amount to say about Splinter Cell, really. Like, it is very straightforward. There's not much to spoil in terms of story, other than, hey, the bad Georgian dictator, he dies at the end. So there we go.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Who could have seen it coming? I'm knocking things over now. Let's be sensible. So the only other thing, like with Alan Wake 2, this game does have 3 DLC missions. But again, they don't really add anything. There's not a whole lot in there worth talking about. You infiltrate a submarine, and that's really annoying.
What is it Do you have an underwater section?
It's in a submarine, so yeah, I think you are supposed to be like underwater in the submarine, or it might be.
Yeah, but I mean, like, normally there's like swimming, which is always really annoying in like Lara Croft games and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, thankfully there's no swimming involved in the
okay, good.
in the submarine part. But it's really tight enclosed spaces, so there's like not many places to hide. So it really does kind of feel like there is one specific path through this entire part of the game, and if you don't go on that one very specific path, it's game over, and you start again.
It's less flexible.
Exactly, and it kind of works. It kind of doesn't work. It's not, and it really doesn't add anything to the main story of the game anyway.
It's an extra level.
You'll see it when the video goes up. Like, it kind of just at the beginning and end of every mission, you'll get like a little bit of text about what's happened leading up to the point, and then what happened after the mission ended, and that's literally all you. And then normally the next mission will start with a cutscene. But with the end of this DLC, that's literally it. You get the paragraph of text, and then it boots you straight back to the main menu, and that's it. And that's the end of the game. And you're like, oh. Well, cool. Glad I spent so long trying to get through that bloody submarine.
There you go. Well, never mind.
But yeah, it's off the list now. That puts me at 2 for the month, and you on 1. So we're both on track. I've earned myself a little bit of leeway. I'm thinking about what I'm going to play next month, but we'll get to that in a bit. But along with, the list games, we have played other games. I think I've played quite a few more than you have.
You
and I
have.
think that's kind of the way this is going to go for most of it.
Generally, yes.
Generally, yeah. I'll just go through a couple of the games that I've played, and we'll throw it back over to you because I've been talking for a while now. I played through the Tomba Special Edition. I think it's limited run games, a new version of Tomba. This is Tomba 1, or Tombi as it was called in the UK. I don't know why it was changed. Didn't actually bother to look that up. But goddamn, if that game isn't just a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh,
Like it's just a really fun time. It's like it's like an early well, it was PlayStation 1, so it must have been 1990s, sort of mid to late 90s. Platformer, you're jumping on pigs. The story of the game is like the world that you're in has been taken over by 7 evil pigs, and you've got to stop the pigs. Again, it's a video game story. It's not complex. You just got to stop the pigs. But you've got to find, like, there are pig bags, which are literally just big bags that you have to throw the pigs into to stop them.
Nice.
And they're all caught in the bags. So you have to find the bags, to find the pigs, to put the pigs in the bags. And once you found all 7, there's another one, and there's the big final boss.
Like those pigs.
But there's there's so many distractions in that game. Like, this witch wants you to find pieces for her recipe, and if you find that, you'll get a piece. She'll give you a piece of candy, and
I believe it's called those side quests usually.
Yes, but there are so many of them in this game. Like and with it being like a PlayStation 1 game, it doesn't give you any hints about what it is that you want to do. Like, when you find one of these new side quests, it'll pop up on screen and it'll be like, find the ingredients for the witch, or even some like little twee rhyme or something about whatever it is that you're meant to be doing. But it doesn't give you any clues as to where to find any of these ingredients.
Yeah.
So at one point I was just kind of like, right, I don't know. I'm just going to follow a guide for these side quests. Even the main story stuff, it kind of points you in a direction to go. But you get to a point and it's kind of like, okay, well, I've been here and I've been here and I've been here and I've been here, and I don't know where else to go now.
Not found
so I could either revisit all those places and poke around in every little single nook and cranny of each area and see if there's something that I've missed. Or I can just go to the internet and find a guide, and that's pretty much just what I did.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Really, really enjoyed it. Recommend if it's on sale, or even if it's not. Just if you're missing certain PlayStation nostalgia, go check out Tomba Special Edition. I would say kind of a bare bones port more than like a remaster or a remake of it. But it does have like things like rewind, and I think save states. I think it's got save states in it, but saving, you can just sort of save anywhere anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, one to check out if you're looking for a very specific kind of PS1 flavor. One of the other games that I played this month was Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo. This is like a sort of like a top-down Metroidvania pixel art game where you play as Pipistrello, who's a young bat who's come to his auntie's house to it's unclear why he's come back to the auntie's house, but she is an energy magnate in this city. She's basically got a monopoly on all energy in the city. She kind of gets taken down by the 4 sort of like big businesses in the city, and is turned. Her body and soul are turned into pure energy, and gets split into 4 large batteries that one of each of the big business owners take and use to further their nefarious schemes. But 1/5 of her soul is split and makes it into the Yoyo, hence the Cursed Yoyo.
Right.
And it is sort of kind of standard Metroidvania stuff. You learn you go around, you learn new tricks for the yo-yo, which allow you to go further new places and fight more enemies, and then you get the full batteries back to try and re-put the soul in the can and seal it up again and make your aunt whole again. Not going to go too much into the story because that's not what this is, but it was a full, fun, little, enjoyable game. I kind of didn't love it. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I liked it to a degree, but
I kind of felt from what I saw of it.
It is very cute, and it's got like a lot of charm to it. Just after a while, I think it sort of wore off, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of just playing this because I've already started it. I didn't really care all that much, and I think part of that is because the aunt character isn't a very nice person.
I was thinking that when you said it, I was like, she's got a monopoly on the energy?
Yeah.
What? Bitch! Why?
She kind of doesn't learn anything from your entire journey. The whole time she's kind of in Pipit's ear, kind of being like, oh yeah, see, this is why people can't have things like their own choices, or unlimited energy corrupts people. That's why we have to have a monopoly on these things. And I'm just kind of like, I get that they're really hammering home a point, but my God, it just kind of really makes this character unlikable. And, by the end, she has a
Why
turn.
Are you saving her?
But not really. And it just, it's not, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. But yes, I've been talking for a little while. Why didn't you tell us about one or two games that you've been playing this month?
Yeah, so I haven't actually played too many others because I've been a little busy, but I did start the year off with Another Crab's Treasure, which is a little Souls-like game, where you play as a crab. Your home, aka your shell, gets repossessed by a loan shark.
There's a lot of capitalism in this episode. What the heck's going on?
Yeah. And basically, your home gets repossessed and you go on this journey to try and get it back, essentially. You could travel to the city, you put different, tin cans, plastics, like anything you can find on your back as a temporary shell, and you fight with a fork against other crabs and enemies and stuff like that. And yeah, you try and get your house back, and then you end up on this wild goose chase for some treasure, fighting bosses along the way. It's a Souls-like, so basically whenever you kill enemies you get souls, but they're actually microplastics. That's the currency.
Yes, yeah, your currency is microplastics, which is pretty good.
Which is quite funny, because it's essentially like the whole world is becoming polluted. The whole sea is becoming polluted with microplastics, so that's the currency. You also end up getting a spell which is charged by umami, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's just an enjoyable game. Some of the platforming in that game is a little bit funky in places, but I didn't have too many issues with it. Nothing that kind of made me go, oh my God, I'm not playing this game. I thoroughly enjoyed all of it, all the way through. 100%ed it. You only have to do a bit of Entry Plus, like an hour of Entry Plus to get the last 2 achievements. So I decided to do that. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, and it's got a lot of assist modes, a lot of accessibility settings, which is really good. And one of them gives you a gun to shoot people dead, which was great, which I played around with a little bit once I'd finished the game, of course.
Yeah, the gun is basically just a one-hit kill on everything, even the final boss. It's just,
it is.
Hey, if you just want to see the story, just equip the gun and you'll pretty much just fly through the game. I've not played it. I played the demo, which also had the gun in it, which was very funny. A very cute game.
Yes.
I was going to say it's very well written, but it's very well written if you like puns. Very pun
It's got a lot of puns.
It's very pun heavy.
I think the story it's fine. It's fairly basic, I would say. I mainly played it for the gameplay. I wasn't too bothered about the story,
It's
but
a
it
very
obviously
cute
says
game,
a lot
but that
about
doesn't make it any less of a
pollution
Souls-like.
Yeah, it's still challenging at times. But it's really interesting, and the different shells you put on give you different abilities and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to use that side of things as well. So yeah, that was the first one I played this year. I finished it like first week of Jan, I think. And then I played Alan Wake. And then most recently, a couple of days ago, Cairn came out, which is a climbing game. So I started playing that. So I haven't got loads to say on that yet.
This was one of the games that in the last episode you said that you were actually really looking forward to coming out this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's out. You've been playing it.
How on release and been playing it. It's enjoyable. I ended up playing it for like 5 hours at a time when I've been playing it, so it's clearly like, keeping me going. And I think part of that is it makes me think. Obviously, I haven't played it, but I've seen you play Baby Steps, and it gives me a similar vibe to Baby Steps because it's kind of tricky, and you're like climbing.
Guy who's only ever played Baby Steps playing Cairn. It's like, oh, I'm getting big baby steps vibes from this.
And then you're falling down and you're getting back up and you're going back to where you were and you're trying to get further, and you are making more progress probably than Baby Steps because you can place like climbing gear to stop you from falling all the way down and stuff like that, and there are very easy and like obvious checkpoints. You can't fall all the way back down really unless you try. So it's not as like harsh as that Baby Steps is, but it gives me a similar vibe where they're like, you gotta keep going and like you can do it and all that kind of stuff. I played about 10 hours, so total. I don't know how long this game is. I would imagine I'm over halfway. I would guess. I hope I'm over halfway.
It's a lot of time to be climbing a mountain.
It's a big mountain.
I don't know how long it actually takes to climb a mountain. I've never actually climbed one before, but I imagine it takes a good few hours.
It's the one I climbed took about a day and a half to 2 days to get up, and then another day to get down.
All right, so you've got some going yet.
Yeah, I mean she's been on that mountain for like 14 days, I think, in game time.
Okay, wow.
So, but yeah, I got mauled by a bear. That was fun. And blacked out because I was too cold or I didn't drink enough water or something, because there's also survival aspects to this game. We have to eat and drink and cook food and stuff on your little stove, and you camp out, so you got to make sure you've got enough food to last you till you get to your next save point, but you don't know when that's going to be, and that kind of thing, and enough water and all that stuff. And you can only obviously use some of that equipment when you're like on some climbing gear where you have hands free. Obviously while you're climbing you can't use that stuff, so there's quite a few tactics in that as well, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Hope to finish that soon-ish. We'll see how long it takes me.
Nice.
Climb this mountain.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, because it was like, I think it was like only one or two games that you were like really sort of excited for this year, and this was one of them, and I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I definitely think it's the best climbing game I've played so far. However, this is only the second climbing game I've played so far. It's doing the climbing movement quite well in some aspects and quite poorly in others. So it's interesting. It's a bit weird. Like, some things I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why would you do this? Like, this doesn't make sense. And then other things I'm like, oh, that looked very, very accurate for what you would move like if this was where your hands were, and all this kind of thing. So,
interesting.
It's, a bit weird, but doing a decent job of it anyway.
Awesome. I'll run through quite quickly the last couple of games that I've played here. Two that kind of tied together. I bought see if I can remember the name of the bundle. It was a humble bundle. I think it was D3 Waifus for You bundle, which included two games that I really wanted to play: OneeChanbara Origin and Full Metal Schoolgirl. Now, I've played all of OneeChanbara Origin, which is a re-release of two PlayStation 2 games from the Simple series. The Simple series was like a line of budget video games that came out in Japan. These two being the OneeChanbara and the OneeChanbara 2. Tells the story of a a female warrior with a samurai sword and a cowboy hat and a bikini, and she's fighting hordes of the undead to try and stop her half sister from resurrecting her mother, like this half sister's mother, the main girl's stepmother. Yeah, it's kind of really basic. The play through the game, you're just mowing down waves and waves of zombies. It's very sort of, it's a lot more systems heavy than I thought it was going to be. So like there's like a timing bar at the bottom of the screen where you can time your button inputs to perform different combos. And then you've got like, as you kill more and more zombies, you become more drenched in blood. And once your blood meter fills up, you then go into like a berserk mode. And if you keep attacking while you're in a berserk mode, you go into like a hyper berserk mode called ecstasy mode, where just everything is amplified. You can attack a lot more, you take a lot less damage, and so on, so on, so on. Very strange game. So that the first half of that game is you trying to stop your half sister from resurrecting her mother, and then the second half is the two of you after you've stopped her from doing that. Spoilers for OneeChanbara. But after you've stopped her from doing that, she joins you, and you both go and try and stop your father because he's up to some nonsense. And you can kind of swap between characters, and you can do that sort of mid combo and combine those together. It's a fun little romp. Pretty short game because it's basically, you can very much tell that it's two games glued together. There's the part after you defeat your stepsister at the end of the first half. And there's like a whole cutscene there, and you're like, oh yeah, now we're gonna go stop our dad. And then the next mission is like, okay, we're going to go stop our dad. So it's kind of like, yeah, okay, there was the cut in the two games. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that somewhat. A game I actually enjoyed a lot less was Full Metal Schoolgirl. This was the main reason that I bought that Humble Bundle, was because I saw a trailer for Full Metal Schoolgirl. I liked the look of it, and I wanted to play it. Now, I did realise that it was a roguelike, or a roguelite. But I thought I'd give it a go anyway. And I just don't like doing roguelikes. Oh my god, it's so repetitive and boring. But to make it worse, so the whole premise of the game is that you take on one of these robot girls who's fighting their way through this giant corporate tower because the big boss is responsible for the death of your father. And you're basically going in to exact revenge. And as you fight through each stage is a flaw of the game, and you're live streaming it all as you're going, and you get like requests from chat being like, oh, clear this room without taking any damage, and you can be like, oh yeah, that's easy, or you can be like, actually that's way too easy, how about I do it without taking any damage and without renewing my energy. We're using batteries to renew my skills. So, and you get money through that way, which you can then use to take outside the building and to sort of upgrade the systems, like health, attacks, and so on and so on and so on. But as you progress through the different floors of the tower, like you get bosses on certain floors. So you get to floor 10. There's a boss there. And if you beat that boss, you get an elevator key card. And on the ground floor of the building, there are elevators, and the first one's at 10, the next one's at 35, and 50, and 75, and 99, and whatever. The problem is, each time you get that key card, that is a one-use only key card. So you can start the game, and okay, great, I beat the boss at floor 10. I can now start a new game from floor 10. And you do that, and when I first played it, I got to floor 14 and died. And I was like, oh, and I can't use that floor 10 keycard anymore because that's gone now.
That sucks.
So I have to do floors 1 through 10 all the way up to however far you get, and then when you die, then you can restart from floor 10. And I did that, and I restarted from floor 10, and I got all the way. I think the next elevator keycard is at floor 35. So I took my elevator 10 keycard, and I got in there, and I went all the way through, and I died on floor 34. And I just went, nope, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore. I really liked what it was doing, and I liked the idea of it, but the fact that I died, and now if I want to get back to that point, I have to go through 34 floors again to get back to that point. No.
That's rough. And then it's only going to get worse the higher you go.
And exactly, yeah. Like, once I get to 35, I can restart a run from floor 35, but I don't make it to the next floor. I've got to do it all, and I'm just... I think if those key cards were permanent, and you just got the key card, and you could start again from floor 10, I've already beat that boss, it doesn't matter, I've done that part now, I just want to start again, let me start from floor 10, I might continue playing it, but the fact that it's one use and you have to start again just absolutely killed any momentum of that game for me.
Reminds me of Sifu, which I played last year on this list. Yeah, and that's similar, but all of the, like, you find shortcuts instead of, like, elevator cards or whatever, but it's a similar thing, but you do get to keep them. However, there's a trade-off because it's, like, level-based, there's, like, 5 levels with a boss at the end of each, and if you use all the shortcuts, you can get to each boss really quickly, and it's like, okay, cool, I can skip loads of this game, like, I don't have to do the whole thing every time, except that you're not gaining skill point type stuff and upgrades, because you have to get your upgrades, like, through the level. There's, like, 3 upgrade points at each place, and if you go through the shortcuts, you miss, like, 2 out of the 3. So it's like, there's your trade-off. So, but in that case, each of the levels you get way better at, you get some permanent upgrades, and it doesn't take that long, and it's only 5 levels, so it's way more doable.
Yeah, I look, obviously these games do appeal to people, and people absolutely love retreading the same things over and over and over again. I'm not one of these people. I don't enjoy that style of game. But if you do, and you like the sound of that game, go check out Full Metal Schoolgirl. It's got some cool ideas, and it's got, like, a really nice style to it. But I can't force myself to go through that again. I'm not going to do it. I've only played 2 other games this month and finished, so I'll quickly go through those. One that I did play based on a recommendation I saw on one of the Discord servers that I'm in is a game called Wicked Seed. This is a turn-based horror RPG, and it is very new. It's the first game from 2026 that came out in 2026 that I've beaten. So I'm not going to go too much into detail here. But it's, if you've played Parasite Eve, which I know you haven't, but if you've played that, it's kind of got a similar sort of idea. You get into encounters with monsters. You've got your equipped guns, and you can shoot. Again, it's very systems heavy. You can shoot and kind of build up a break meter, and once you've broken an enemy, then you can then get in for, like, more powerful attacks. You've got distance on different guns, so you get shotguns, pistols, rifles, grenades, what have you. But if that, it does not nearly live up to sort of like the idea of what a Parasite Eve-like game could be. But for a game that seems to be developed by, like, one guy, when I finished the game, the credits were this one guy, his wife, and 2 voice actors. And there are two male characters in the game that are voice acted by the same guy. So it's kind of like, it seems like, unless he's omitting a lot, which is entirely possible, it seems like it's a very small group of people making this game. If it sounds like your kind of thing, check it out. there was a demo. The demo's been taken down with the full release. It seems like there's posts on the Steam forum for potentially bringing that back at some point. But as of right now, there's nothing on there. I think we'll put links to these games in the description of the video, so you can go and have a look at them each one as we talk about them. And the last game, really quickly, I just want to talk about was Iron Lung. I played this last night. Really short horror experience. David Szymanski. It was on sale. It's something I've had my eye on for a while. The entire premise is you are a convict. You are put inside a submarine and sent to like a moon that is covered by a sea of blood. And as you kind of guide this submarine, it's all been completely welded shut to deal with the pressure of the blood sea around you. And you can't see. All you've got are your instruments and a map, and you have to kind of go around the moon and photograph these points of interest with the submarine. Very short, and yeah, I liked it. A little disappointed by it after hearing so much about it for quite a while. It was very short, and it kind of ended kind of exactly the way I thought it was going to end. There wasn't anything too interesting about it, so a little disappointed. But again, yeah, it's there to check out. There is a film of Iron Lung that came out a couple of days ago. Markiplier, the YouTube creator, has written, directed, and starred in a film based on Iron Lung, and it sounds like it's doing okay. So
Interesting.
yeah, Iron Lung in cinemas now. But that wraps up everything that I've been playing this month. So I should say last month. It is now February. So speaking of February, we have to decide what games we want to play this month and whether or not we'll actually do that. Dani, what have you got your eye on this month? Is there anything upcoming? Anything on your list that you think you want to have a crack at?
So, obviously, I want to try and finish Cairn first, because I've already started that. I'm going to polish that one off first, so probably next week or so. I was having a look at my list earlier, and I think I'm going to choose a fairly short one from my list, even though usually at the start of the year I like to get ahead with some of the bigger ones to get them out the way. But because I am starting a new job tomorrow, I'm not sure how much time in the evening I'm going to be wanting to spend. So this one is only 5 hours. It's Pseudo Regalia, which is that Metroidvania one with the bunny. But yeah, it's like 5 hours or something. So
I love that game. It's very good.
Even if like work is really hard and I'm tired in the evenings, I can do that one in a weekend. So
yeah, for sure.
That's my theory basically, while I get used to work. So probably just that, and then if I do end up having more time, I might just start playing through some Elden Ring to try and get back to the DLC.
Oh sure, yeah, you've got homework to do on that one. Yeah.
I have homework, yeah. So I might start making some progress on that one if I do get through the others.
I mean, you've already played Elden Ring, so it's kind of like you can just pick that up and start going through it again, and you kind of have an idea of what you're doing. You can do that like little chunks here and there, just do a little bit every night or whatever.
Sections. Yeah, not too hard.
As for me, I think off my list, I might try and play Disillusion. Again, quite a short one on the grand scale of things. I might try and do as you did, do a little bit of voice recording to go along with this one. I don't think I'll put camera on, but have some sort of talk over audio for when that goes up on YouTube. So yeah, maybe I'll test that out. That feel like that's a game that I'm gonna want to talk about as I'm playing it, so it makes sense to do that into a microphone. Other than that, I mean, there's a couple of games coming out this month. Romeo is a Dead Man on the 11th of February. I really do want to play that. That looks really good. I've heard a couple of things that have not been as glowing, but I want to check that out. There's Yakuza Kiwami 3, which, yeah, that's...
You played the original.
I played the original, and I said the original. It's the HD remake.
Yeah, the remastered version.
Yeah, and Yakuza 3 is by far my least favorite of the Yakuza games. And I played the demo for Yakuza Kiwami 3, and it does not look good. Like, visually, it doesn't look good. RGG Studios have been out there saying that, yeah, there's gonna be like a day one patch to address the visual aspect of the game and try and bring it back into line. So we'll see how that turns out. But even with that, their casting of Teruyuki Kagawa for one of the characters in it, a confessed sexual harasser, really kind of just really does just kind of put me off playing that game, especially when Pierre Taki, who was cast in Judgment back in 2017, 2018, he was caught with a little bit of cocaine and was completely scrubbed from that game. For them to then now have this guy, a confessed, admittedly he refuses to apologize for it, but sexual harasser in this game as quite a prominent character, I think maybe just give that one. Maybe it's not a good look. Maybe just give that one a miss. A couple of smaller games. Welcome to Dolltown looks really neat. It's got that sort of PS1 aesthetic, kind of that horror look. Again, it's not a huge priority for me. There is a demo of it that I haven't played yet, so maybe I should do that before actually buying the full game. Maybe I'll just buy the full game. That's kind of my MO with stuff. And and Reanimal, one that might be of interest to you actually.
Yeah, me and my boyfriend sometimes play some of those co-op kind of horror games like Little Nightmares or...
Well, yeah, it's the Little Nightmares people who are making it, so...
Yeah. It was on my radar. Now that I've got a job, maybe I'll buy it. I'll probably see how my boyfriend feels about playing it. If he wants to play it, I'll play it. Either way, it's probably going to be fairly short, so not too much hassle. Yeah.
And then at the end of the month, we've got the big release, Resident Evil Requiem. It's going to be a day one purchase for me. I'm going to be on the big TV. I'm going to have it up. I'm going to be playing that. I'm just going to play through that all the way to the end. Probably not before the March episode, but I'm sure I'll have some update on how it goes, or how it is going in that episode. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the Resident Evil Requiem, and how far I've gotten, it'll probably be pretty spoiler free with it having only been out for a day or two at that point.
I'm also probably going to buy it. But I'm not sure if I'll do it straight on release. It'll probably depend what's going on with other games and stuff like that at the time.
You've got a lot on and a lot of changing stuff, and it's going to take a little while to sort of figure things out, I think. But
but it's at the end of the month, so
it is right at the end of the month.
March anyway.
The only other thing that I might possibly play next month is Rule of Rose. A very obscure survival horror game. There are rumors, Bloober team, the makers of the Silent Hill 2 remake, and Chronos: The New Dawn, which I played both and enjoyed. They've put out like a new website with like a picture of a rose on it, and there's a countdown, and the countdown seemingly ends on Valentine's Day. But there's like a string of letters. It's a very, very long string of letters, all kind of scrambled up that kind of don't make any sense. As far as I'm aware, nobody's actually decoded it yet. but there's rumors flying around that maybe it's a remake of Rule of Rose. So maybe I'll play the original before that comes out. So I've got a comparison. Rule of Rose is something that's been on it's been on my backlog for years, and I think it's almost made the shortlist for this year. So maybe I'll just knock that out. We'll see. Again, if you're curious at all about what that website is, it'll be linked down in the description below. Give that a look and check it out.
Yeah, I think that about wraps us up.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to go over. It's actually been a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, me too. I had a lot to say about Alan Wake.
It's all right. Look, like I said, we barely even scratched the surface with Alan Wake. It's a fantastic game.
For sure.
You really should go play it. Right. So, Dani, thank you very much for joining me and continuing on this podcast. We'll both be back next month, the beginning of March, so keep an eye out for that. Our outro music and our intro music, both the same song, both done by Kevin MacLeod. Thank you very much. Aerosol of My Love by Kevin MacLeod. You can find him at incompetech.com or on YouTube just by searching Kevin MacLeod. Go and watch the videos of all of his music with his little dancing cursor. Of course. Of course. We do love the dancing cursor. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you very much. From you, Dani, say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you very much for everyone who tuned in, and hopefully see you next time.
Yes. Yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.